Welcome to the Reddit gang. We post the best content of Reddit every day. So make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Also check out the meme gang on Facebook and Instagram for the finest memes. Enjoy the video. People on Reddit answer, what's a fact you know that almost everyone is wrong about? There is not just fight or flight response, but also a freeze response. The muscles tense and the body goes very still. This explains why some people are paralyzed with fear, and freeze instead of running or fighting back. It is very helpful for camouflage and hiding from predators with poor eyesight. It does not work so well when standing in front of a speeding truck. Rubies are actually sapphires, and sapphires come in almost any color you can think of. To be specific, sapphire is a specific base chemical/crystal structure, corundum. Sorry test players, the metallurgy in those games is entirely screwy. Rubies are the same chemical/crystal structure as all other sapphires. The red sapphires are named differently from all the other sapphires purely because of historical accident, not from them being different in any significant way. Most people say that trees are good against climate change. They think trees will receive all the CO2. But actually we have to thank phytoplankton for making 80% of our oxygen. And for receiving CO2. Water isn't actually conductive. It's the impurities in the water that allows it to conduct electricity. Edit, for those that are commenting that it can conduct electricity albeit not very well, I am aware. But it conducts so very poorly that it is essentially negligible. So for simplicity's sake, it's easy enough to say it doesn't conduct electricity. Marie Antoinette never said let them eat cake. The first written account of this story is from 1767 and doesn't attribute the quote to her. She would have been 12 at the time, and would go on to marry Louis XVI 3 years after this quote was initially published. Singers, almost universally, have a consistent tendency to sing slightly flat, not sharp. It's due primarily to lack of proper breath support and not because they have a tin ear for music. The Mayans didn't disappear or go extinct. They still live in Central America and speak at least 24 different Mayan languages. The last Mayan city didn't fall to Spanish conquest until 1697. Picture a hymen. If you're thinking of a sort of sheet or membrane that covers the vagina and is popped by intercourse, you're wrong. It's actually a thin piece of tissue that only partly covers the entrance to your vagina. There are some cases where it does completely cover it. This is known as an imperforate hymen, can cause some not insignificant health issues, and is very rare. It doesn't always hurt when it breaks. It's as likely to be broken by accident long before you have sex as it is to be pristine when you do, and sometimes it just disappears by itself without breaking. Either way, despite the idea that it's some sort of foolproof virginity test, whatever you define virginity as, anyway, it's still a pretty vague concept. It leaves a lot to be desired. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. You see the misconception all the time. Someone indulges in their favorite vice and says gotta get my dopamine rush. But dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about craving. Our dopamine levels don't spike when we get something we want, they spike when something we want becomes available, and go down once we actually get the pleasurable thing. Dopamine isn't the rush of driving fast, it's the green light that tells you to go. That it's a good idea to make furniture out of old pallet wood. No, that stuff gets treated with all kinds of pesticides when shipped overseas so you don't transfer any bugs or fungi. You don't want the gases emerging from it in your living room. I've even seen baby beds made from that shit. A monsoon isn't rain, it is a seasonal wind. Monsoon winds actually bring droughts at certain times of the year, and rain in other parts. It's a monsoon outside is not a correct thing to say when it's pouring. This is really specific, but in most anatomy or biomechanics textbooks the ankle joint is classified as a second-class lever with the ball of the foot labeled as the fulcrum. This is incorrect as the system rotates about the ankle joint, not the ball of the foot. Therefore it is a first-class lever, not second. This right here is the hill I will die on. A heart attack and cardiac arrest are not the same thing. Some severe heart attacks can lead to cardiac arrest, however there are many that experience heart attacks unknowingly and carry on their merry way. The word helicopter is a combination of helico, spiral, and pter, one with wings. Edit. Most people assume the word breaks down into heli and copter without realizing those two words mean nothing in this connotation. After living in Slovakia for 7.5 years, I got beyond frustrated when people would tell me that I would catch a cold from simply being in cold weather, or that air conditioning in the summer makes you sick, or that you treat a cold with antibiotics, or that sitting on cold concrete will give you hemorrhoids. I tried to refute all of this with actual evidence, but it fell upon deaf ears. I loved my time there, but good lord, the old health superstitions are alive and well. That fun fact: you eat 8 spiders in your sleep each year. If you even think about it a little bit, it makes no sense. A lot of American homes don't have an abundance of spiders, and they usually just tend to their webs or live in areas without a lot of foot traffic. They usually don't even intentionally crawl into someone's bed because it offers no prey, and spiders only view us as part of the landscape because we're so big. Spiders would also most likely be scared of sleeping people because of the vibrations caused by breathing and or snoring. A lot of people don't actually sleep with their mouth open, and if they do, they're probably snoring, which again repels spiders. Also, I know not everyone believes this, but apparently at my school it's still being taught that blood is blue until it interacts with oxygen. Blood is never blue, it's just a darker red. The reason veins are blue is because of the way light penetrates your skin. Homo sapiens, us, coexisted with other human species at the same time. Neanderthals, Denisovians, etc. There was no evolutionary order we often seen where the monkey turns into a man over a few stages. Shaving, waxing, plucking or anything of the sorts does not make your hair grow back faster or thicker. It just looks thicker because it is new growth. The only thing that will really change how thick or dense your hair grows is hormones. The pyramids weren't actually built by slaves. In fact, the people who worked on the pyramids were some of the best paid workers in the empire. It required especially skilled laborers to cut, transport and set the giant stones just right. Far more skill than was required for farming. It seems that most people thought the Senate of the US vote on convicting the POTUS would be won simply by which side got more votes, but the Constitution states that a vote in this case must be a supermajority of 2/3 of the votes to convict. Diamonds are actually much more common than we think, and the only reason why they are rare is because the companies restrict their supply to jack up the prices. That essentially means that companies are scamming us out of our money because they know we really can't resist those sparkly pieces of rock that are actually made of the same material as the graphite points on pencils. Edit. Another thing, diamonds are the hardest mineral, but they are also very brittle. They cannot be scratched easily, but they are not very strong. You can easily break a diamond just by smashing it with a hammer. The definition of an introvert. Not all introverts hate people and never want to socialize. Being introverted just means that social interaction is physically and mentally draining, compared to an extrovert, who gains energy through social interaction. We introverts still like to get out and have a good time and can genuinely enjoy it, it's just going to require some downtime after. Remember that lady who spilled hot coffee on herself and sued McDonald's? The real truth is her grandson was driving and she was the passenger and they were parked. The coffee spilled and she was covered in third-degree burns, and McDonald's had their temperature warmer than the other hot coffees other places sell. The lady only wanted McDonald's to pay her medical bill and lower the coffee temperature. That janitor is a low-class job. I'm a janitor and let me tell you, we make good money. Amazing benefit. People treat you with so much respect. Comes the holiday, janitor gets a lot of gift from the people he cleans for. You're like a hero when there's toilet or bathroom trouble. Yeah, we make good money. I make more money than my friend who graduated university. Not only that, you have good co-workers. Nobody tells you what to do cause you pretty much have a routine. Einstein was not stupid in school. He was always smart. This is just something people say to feel better about their own stupidity. To become a real gangster, follow these easy steps. Smash the like button and comment on this video. Subscribe to the Reddit gang and activate the notification bell. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram.